Welcome to Using Zoom with Students. The bottom toolbar of Zoom contains many tools to use with students. To get to the bottom toolbar, you'll hover over the bottom of the screen. This is a picture of what it looks like when I have hovered over the bottom of my screen inside of a Zoom meeting room. You'll notice that you have the opportunity to control your microphone, control your video. You can click on this to invite people to the meeting that's already in progress. You can click Manage Participants to see a list of people who are in the room. And if you needed to, you could use that list to mute people or to make somebody a co-host. This green button is where you would click to share a screen. You could share a PowerPoint. You could share a web browser that's open. If you have a tablet connected to your computer where you are using a stylus, this is also where you would select that screen for your students to see you working on the tablet with the stylus. I'm going to talk a little bit more about sharing screen in here in just a minute. You have a chat window. Chat is an excellent way to communicate with students during a Zoom meeting. You can use chat to encourage students to participate. Say you've been talking for a few minutes, you can stop and put out a question to the room and say, for example, let me know in the chat box how you would use at least one of the tools we've talked about so far. And you could pause for a few moments and let students respond to you in the chat bar, in the chat room. If you have the record setting turned on, this is where you would click record. When you click record, it's going to have you make a decision. Do you want to record locally or record on the cloud? Right now, during our 30-day trial, we want to record locally. I'll talk more about that in another Zoom video. If you are in a classroom with a live captioner, you would turn on closed captions. If you have a student who is hearing impaired, you probably are already working with the Access Center to have a live captioner join your Zoom meeting and type in what you're saying live. If this is not the case for you, then this is not something that you need to worry about at the moment. What you will still want to do is close caption your video recordings, but again, I'm going to cover that in a Zoom session on video recordings. And then also, if you've got this setting turned on, you have an icon for breakout rooms. I'm going to show us a video about how breakout rooms work here in just a moment. Okay, now let me talk a little bit more about sharing your screen. When you click this green button, Zoom is going to open up a pop-up window and it's going to ask you which screen you want to open. So when I took this picture, these were different screens I had open. I had my Zoom room screen, I had, as you can see, a Chrome browser screen open, I had a Zoom Cloud Meeting screen open, I had a Word document open. I even had a Microsoft Word dialog box open, and I had Snagit open, and I could have shared any of these screens. I would do that simply by clicking on the screen of my choice and then clicking the word share. I also want to point out that there is a whiteboard feature. I'll talk about annotation tools that you can use on the whiteboard here in just a second. Also, if you have an iPhone or an iPad attached to your computer, then Zoom will detect that and say, hey, do you want to share what's on the iPad in particular? If you've got a stylus with the iPad, you might want to use that feature. All right, let's talk about what happens when you do get into sharing your screen. So once you are sharing your screen, your tools are going to move to the top of your window. So whereas before you would hover along the bottom of your Zoom meeting screen, the tools would pop up along the bottom. As soon as you start sharing, and you'll know that you're sharing because you've got this message up here that says stop share, then you'll have to hover above the top here and your meeting tools will have come to the top. I want to point out that you've got the same tools: mute, video, manage participants. Your chat has moved over here to the more section, and as has your breakout rooms and your invite and some of your other things. What I want to point out though is that you now have an annotate button. When you click on this annotate button, an annotation toolbar is going to appear. You can see that you have different options here. You can use your mouse, select, text, draw, stamp, spotlight. You can erase everything. You can change the color of your pen, or you can undo and redo something that you've just annotated, or you can clear all of your annotations. So this is what your annotation bar looks like. Now I want to show you a little bit about Zoom's breakout rooms. This video is about 3 minutes long, and it really covers very well how Zoom's video breakout rooms work.
Hey everyone, Farah from Zoom here. On this brief video, we're going to show you how you can leverage our breakout room feature to take a large meeting or virtual classroom and split it up into smaller groups or sessions. You'll see that I have already enabled the breakout room feature, which you can find in your settings along the bottom. And that breakout room button will actually be right here. This is a button that only your hosts or co-hosts will be able to see. And right now we don't have a co-host in the session. If I manage my participants, I can hover over Catherine, for example, to make her a co-host. So she'll see this button now as well. When we're ready to split the group into smaller sessions, I can easily click this button to get a pop-up window asking me how many rooms I'd like to assign out and how many participants per room. For this example, it's recommending, since there are 6 people, we can split it up into 2 rooms. I can do this automatically or manually. So if we click on the automatic button, it'll generate those breakout rooms for us. Certainly if there's anyone I want to swap out, maybe I want to move Michael to the other room, I can exchange him for a different participant. Once I'm ready to open all rooms, I'll click this Open All Rooms button, and our participants will be able to join the sessions that we've created for them. So we'll slowly see those people join. One thing that's really important to note is that as a host or a co-host, you can actually hop between the different rooms to talk to the participants. You can see here I have the Join button. Now everybody's left to go to the rooms. I can broadcast a message to everybody and say, wrapping up in 1 minute. And this will broadcast the message, and then I can close the rooms, which gives them a 1-minute timer to rejoin our session. We'll give everybody a second to rejoin, and I'll show you 1 or 2 additional features with breakout rooms. There we go. We can kind of see everybody kind of popping back in. Now everybody's rejoined the main session. You'll see that I have the opportunity to reopen these rooms again, which is really great. If you have a very long session or a very long virtual class, you can split into these virtual smaller groups as often as you'd like. And the additional options here will allow you to automatically close breakout rooms after a specified amount of time. You can also change the countdown timer to be 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you like. I'll show you a setting where you can also pre-assign folks to be in your breakout room before the classroom starts. You'll want to navigate over to the class that's already been created in your Zoom portal. Under the Meetings tab, you can find your meeting. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, you'll see if we open this to re-edit it, I have the opportunity to pre-assign a breakout room here, and I can create the rooms and upload a CSV with all of my participants in advance so that their names are already populated in the room when I start the session. That's basically how you can run breakout rooms. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any additional questions, please visit us at support.zoom.us. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
All right, so there is our introduction to breakout rooms. It is a tool that you might want to use if you do have the opportunity to have all of your students in the room at the same time. That might not be the case for us in these last weeks of the semester, so only use that tool if it works for you. Thank you for watching Zoom tools you can use with students. Reach out to us at online.learning@nscc.edu with any questions or ideas you have. We look forward to working with you. Thank you.